This video is about creating an acrylic painting that we normally would not see the particular bright colors of this field. We're starting off again with the underpainting by sketching out everything rather than in pencil in black acrylic paint. Note that once everything has been painted in the placement where the trees and the land need to be, I make sure that I let my black thoroughly dry before I paint over top of it. Otherwise, it will smudge and smear your artwork. So be advised that you need to make sure that you allow this to dry thoroughly before going over top of it, of the underpainting with any other colors. So as you can see in this particular part of the video, we are creating the furrows that would have been created by either planting or plowing the field. And this would be a very typical scene out west or in the plains where there are no real hills in the background. You can see just the extent of maybe a few trees back there. So now we are going to work with the sky, and instead of working from top to bottom, I'm working from the center up because I want to go from dark to light. Typically, whenever I'm working with skylines, I try to work always going from dark to light. With both acrylics and watercolors, it just makes things run a little smoother. It's easier to take away color than it is to add color when it comes to skylines. And as you can see, I am adding a goodly mixture of reds, yellows, and blue-green to create the sky. This would be a typical sunset or sunrise. And it's okay to overlap some of the colors over top of each other. It just creates more of a cloudy look. Now we are working on the furrows of the field, and I am simply using straight green, painting over top of the black lines that I have already designated. In between those, I'm going to go with yellow. Notice how I'm using my paintbrush horizontally rather than using a vertical line. I want to create a different sense of there being some texture in this field. So I'm using a horizontal painting technique rather than just painting the stripes as I did earlier. Contrast is a very important thing in this. Typically, we would see green fields out west, and we want to be able to see that we can see the individual rows. So that is why I have the separation of the furrows. Now I'm going back over the darker areas that I originally had painted just so that they will show up a little bit better. Again, the contrast of the picture is very important to the overall image. I'm going back in and creating a sense of there being maybe some small hill or a crop of trees in the background. This is just a mixture of black and a little bit of the pink that you can see there. I'm also going back over the trees that I originally painted in black. Notice that I am extending the branches up. I'm making the branches a little bit taller than I originally had. The original sketch was just placement holders so that I wouldn't have to continually redraw everything. Now I can extend those out, and if I don't go over the exact same area, that's okay, because some of the shadow images that we see in behind will actually lend itself well to creating a sense of there being depth in this picture. With each branch, make sure that their lines are up and out. You don't want to have any branches that are dangling down or down towards the ground because it makes the tree look cartoonish. So try to keep the branches up. The final part of this is just creating the sense of there being a little bit of foliage on the trees. I look at this as being almost a spring field. So we're just adding some green and like a canopy of green that is just popping out. And this is our final product.